Welcome to Space Maestries, your trusted source for breaking headlines, global insights, and sharp analysis from around the world. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. In the high-stakes theater of international diplomacy, some moves are expected, others unthinkable. The world's most powerful leaders gather, each with their own agendas, but rarely does anyone dare to upend the script so dramatically. This week, Mark Carney, former governor of the Bank of England, made the unthinkable real. With a calm demeanor and precise words, he stepped into the spotlight and changed the course of global politics. A plan years in the making, championed by Donald Trump, was not just rejected, it was dismantled by Carney's single, audacious decision. The world watched as a carefully constructed agreement unraveled in a matter of moments. What was meant to be a routine signature became a political earthquake, shaking the White House and Brussels alike. Newsrooms buzzed, and politicians scrambled to respond to the sudden shift in power dynamics. Carney, known for his steady economic hand, quietly said no to a gilded offer from one of the world's most formidable dealmakers. His refusal was not just personal, it was a message to the world about integrity and vision. This wasn't a loud refusal, but a strategic pivot that left diplomats and analysts scrambling. Behind closed doors, urgent meetings were called, and experts debated the far-reaching consequences of Carney's move. The established order is now in flux. Carney's move was a declaration of independence for smaller players on the world stage. Suddenly, nations that once felt sidelined saw new possibilities and leverage. Power, he reminded us, is about more than might. It's about strategy and the courage to walk away. In a single gesture, Carney redefined what it means to lead in uncertain times. The world is still reeling, studying Carney's move as a masterclass in modern statecraft. As analysts dissect every detail, one thing is clear. The rules of the game have changed, and history is being rewritten before our eyes. To grasp Carney's boldness, we must first examine Trump's deal. On the surface, it promised billions in investment, slashed tariffs, and access to American technology. A golden ticket. But beneath the glitter was a web of conditions, regulatory alignment with the U.S., exclusive security ties, and a slow erosion of sovereignty. The deal was a loyalty test disguised as economic partnership designed to force Carney into a corner. Refusal would mean public scorn, acceptance, a future of dependency. Any hesitation would be spun as weakness, letting the U.S. control the narrative. The fine print revealed lasting geopolitical consequences, pulling Carney's entity into the American orbit and away from Europe. The choice: short-term gain or long-term independence. Carney's next move would turn this trap on its head. Faced with an impossible choice, Carney refused to play by Trump's rules. Instead, he unveiled the Global Strategic Partnership, an alternative alliance with non-EU nations and emerging powers. Announced just before Trump's deadline, it was a stunning pivot away from the US-centric proposal. Carney didn't denounce Trump, he simply changed the game. The new pact offered investment, trade, and tech cooperation, without the strings. Regulatory standards became flexible, security arrangements cooperative, not exclusive. By waiting until the last moment, Carney left the US and EU no time to respond. The media, primed for a capitulation, instead reported on a groundbreaking new alliance. Carney seized the narrative, reframing himself as the architect of a new order. It was political judo, using Trump's momentum to execute a decisive counter. In Washington, shock replaced anger. The Trump administration had assumed control, expecting Carney to choose between their offer or isolation. No one anticipated Carney would introduce a new game entirely. The White House fell silent, its narrative upended. Carney's move challenged the core belief in American exceptionalism and the idea that all roads lead to Washington. The administration's binary playbook was useless. Carney had created a third, more attractive option. Any U.S. retaliation now risked looking petty and ineffective. Carney's countermove became a blueprint for other nations seeking independence from superpower gravity. Washington must now adapt, negotiating as equals rather than dictating terms. Carney's gambit may be the wake-up call America needs. In Brussels, Carney's move triggered confusion and panic. The EU had expected Carney to either join Trump or return to the European fold. Instead, he bypassed both, forming a new global alliance that didn't fit the old US-EU paradigm. This challenged the EU's self-image as the world's multilateral leader. European capitals issued conflicting statements. Some welcomed the move, others saw it as a threat. The EU's slow, consensus-driven machinery couldn't keep up. Carney exposed a vulnerability, the assumption that others would always gravitate to the EU for shelter. He proved agile middle powers could forge their own path, free from bureaucratic baggage. For Brussels, it's a moment of reckoning: compete for influence or risk irrelevance. The EU must now become more nimble and strategic to stay in the game. Carney's strategy worked because it was multi-layered and meticulously prepared. Every move was calculated, with careful attention to both the visible and hidden dynamics at play. He didn't just react to events, he anticipated them, planning several steps ahead like a grandmaster in a high-stakes chess match. While the world watched the US offer unfold on the global stage, Carney quietly built a coalition of nations seeking autonomy and a stronger collective voice. He worked behind the scenes, forging relationships and building trust among leaders who felt sidelined by the dominant narrative. He reframed the narrative, not just rejecting Trump's proposal outright, but offering a compelling, forward-looking alternative that resonated with many. This shift in perspective drew attention and support from unexpected quarters. His vision was positive and inclusive, sidestepping the negative framing of the US deal. Instead of focusing on division, he emphasized unity and shared opportunity, which appealed to a broad spectrum of stakeholders. Psychologically, he seized control by introducing an option Trump hadn't considered, catching opponents off guard. This unexpected move shifted the balance of power and forced others to rethink their positions. The move was calm and assertive, leaving no room for escalation or emotional overreaction. Carney's composure under pressure projected confidence and stability, which reassured his allies. Crucially, the new alliance was viable, built on real economic and security interests, not just political posturing. This foundation made the coalition sustainable and credible in the eyes of the world. It offered a practical, attractive path to prosperity, not just a clever trick or a temporary maneuver. The benefits were tangible, giving nations a reason to commit for the long term. Carney's blend of soft power, diplomacy, persuasion, and hard substance, real agreements and commitments, made his move a true masterstroke in international strategy. It's a lesson in how preparation, vision, and perfect timing can outmaneuver even the most powerful opponents, proving that strategy and foresight often trump brute force on the world stage. Carney's decision has redrawn the map of global diplomacy. Middle powers, Canada, Australia, Japan, Brazil, now see a new playbook for independence. No longer must they choose between superpowers. They can form flexible coalitions to pursue their own interests. This challenges the old bipolar worldview, introducing a multipolarity of the middle. Power is now more distributed, creating a more stable international system. Established powers must adapt. The US can't dictate terms, and the EU must become more agile. Even China faces new, independent blocs. For global institutions, these coalitions could revitalize multilateralism and breathe new life into international cooperation. Carney's single move has sent waves reshaping the contours of global power. Carney's precedent has changed the game for middle powers negotiating with superpowers. The old wisdom was to bargain for the best terms within a superpower's framework. Carney showed it's possible, and powerful, to create a new framework entirely. The key is strategic optionality. Always cultivate alternatives, long before a crisis hits. Carney's success was built on years of relationship building and diversification. This will spark a new era of coalition diplomacy, ad hoc, flexible alliances around specific issues. Such agility suits the complex challenges of the 21st century. But the Carney model isn't easy to replicate. It demands sophisticated leadership and calculated risk. The lesson isn't to reject all superpower offers, but to build genuine independence first. Only then can a nation say no, and mean it. Mark Carney's bold move is more than just a story of outsmarting a president or winning a single political battle. It's a profound lesson in the art of strategic independence, showing how vision and resolve can shape the course of history. The Carney Doctrine champions not only foresight, but also the cultivation of diverse relationships and the preservation of freedom of action, even under immense pressure. His victory was secured through patient diplomacy, careful planning, and coalition building, never relying on last-minute heroics or risky gambles. Carney's true power came from offering a positive, inclusive vision for the future, inspiring others to rally behind him, not simply by opposing Trump's deal, but by presenting a compelling alternative. He proved that agency is a choice available to all, even for smaller nations that often feel overshadowed by global powers. With intelligence, thorough preparation, and a willingness to act decisively, it's possible to seize control of your own destiny and rewrite the rules. Carney refused to play a rigged game. Instead, he created a new one where he could thrive, set the terms, and inspire others to follow. This is the enduring legacy he leaves behind, a guide for leaders everywhere who seek true independence and influence in a world dominated by giants. The Carney Doctrine will be studied for years to come, serving as a blueprint for strategic autonomy and a source of inspiration for future generations. In a turbulent and unpredictable world, it's a powerful reminder that sometimes the most effective move is the one nobody anticipates, the move that changes everything.